Just minutes ago, Glenn Sather and his wife Ann waving to the great crowd here in Edmonton after Glenn Sather was honored with his banner being raised to the rafters here in Edmonton as the city of Edmonton, the Edmonton Oilers said thank you for the great work he did, the many years he spent here building 5 Stanley Cup championship teams. We are here in Edmonton getting ready for the New York Rangers and the Edmonton Oilers. Should be a terrific hockey game on Glenn Sather night here in Edmonton. Also the night in which Rangers head coach Alain Vigneault will coach his 1,000th NHL game. The pregame warm-ups just ended minutes ago. The ice will be resurfaced, and we will be back here in Edmonton with some great hockey action. But first, let's go back to the studio in New York to Bill Pino, Ron Duguay, and Steve Valiquette. Guys?
Sam, thanks. We will see you in a couple of moments. What a great night tonight. Glenn Sather's banner goes to the rafters. Alain Vigneault is going to coach his 1,000th game. And Steve, when you talk about the game, what is the thing to look for the most tonight?
Well, I'd say that the Rangers are unexpectedly really running into a hot Edmonton Oilers team. This is the first time since like 2013 they've been on a run like this. They beat really good teams too. Last week they beat the Boston Bruins, they beat the Dallas Stars, both in 1-goal games that the Edmonton Oilers usually don't play. And then they came back on Wednesday against the San Jose Sharks and came from behind in the third period and then won in overtime 4-3. So now they're playing big games. They're running into a team that's very confident in themselves. So for the Rangers, I think they've really got to sit back and play their game, which is puck pursuit, play it smartly, don't let it get wide open. I think the Oilers would love to play a run-and-gun track meet type of game tonight, and that wouldn't suit the Rangers well for tonight's game.
Yeah, as long as we're still talking about Edmonton, I think what's happened is that they've gotten better goaltender. Cam Talbot has not been at his very best, and so they've added Anders Nilsson, which we're going to talk about later, but he started playing some good goaltending. And as a team, defensively, they started playing better. Then they started scoring a few goals. And then once you start to win, you build that confidence. So that's what we're seeing out of Edmonton tonight. Better goaltender, playing better defensively. You're going to still get some chances on them, but they're still playing a team with a lot of confidence. For the Rangers, grabbing the momentum after this long wait, after this ceremony. Real important, first 10 minutes, go out and try to grab that momentum. Quick shifts, go out there. You may have to do a dump and chase, get some hits in, but get that momentum going your way. That way you can, kind of set them back on their heels.
All right, so some of the things to look for. Meantime, everyone, our DraftKings picks of the night. Justin Falk of Carolina against Anaheim. The Ducks will have John Gibson in net, and Oscar Lindberg, our value pick. Play daily fantasy hockey on DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy home of the New York Rangers. Steve, Lindberg now, this will be his 3rd game playing with Chris Kreider and Rick Nash. What have you seen from him centering those two so far?
So we haven't seen point production yet, but he's doing all of those things to help him get that. He's always the first guy back. He's so responsible. Again, he's a 3rd-year guy in North America, and he's the first guy down below the goal line. And then offensively, he's still making things happen around the net. That's where he scores the majority of his points. He's a guy that knows how to get in and play hockey the right way and support the puck when he has to. But in the offensive zone, he gets into the slot area, and he's ready to shoot. And as the guys on our telecast are saying, we've got to get more shots. Well, he's a guy that's opening up his stick and ready to take those, Ron.
Well, when you look at the type of centerman that he is, he's a clever centerman. He's from Sweden, so from Sweden, defensively, you're going to be good. He's not the great passing type centerman, because we haven't seen those passes where it's come into goals, but he's a guy that he'll get in situations, in places on the ice, well, he'll get the puck, and he's a shooter. He wants to shoot. So he's very effective that way, and I think tonight will be a good night, because it's been a few games now. We're starting to see the chemistry. We haven't seen the points, but I think tonight, well, it needs to be tonight where they, come up and score that big goal.
For the Rangers to score, they're going to have to beat one-time Islanders draft pick Anders Nilsson, who is starting to emerge here. He's beaten out Cam Talbot, Steve, and he's won 4 of his last 5. What have you seen out of him?
Well, Anders is a guy that I know very well. I've worked with him. He's spent weeks at my house and trained in the past summer. And I spoke to his agent this week. And, his agent, Rich Winter, said, we took a chance 2 years ago. We've got him a contract at the KHL. He's back in the NHL for the first time. He was traded from the Islanders to the Chicago Blackhawks to the Edmonton Oilers. And now he's here in the NHL, and he's trying to grab his spot in the NHL. And he's hanging on to it really tight. He's playing very well. He wasn't expected to be the starting guy, but he can play the game.
Okay, so if you're in the Ranger dressing room right now, what would you share with them about his weakness? High, low, what is it about him?
I think for Anders, he's still
He's a
working
spy.
on the traffic aspect of the game. And that's the biggest thing to adjust to when you're coming from Europe and you're used to the game over there and you get into a North American net. You can't believe what it's like to look through big bodies that can't be moved. And that's the biggest aspect I think the Rangers have to bring into their game tonight. If the puck is getting to the net, they have to have somebody in front. Every team in the NHL right now has somebody. We saw it with the Islanders last week with Anders Lee. Brendan Gallagher right now in Montreal is not in the lineup, and they're not winning. He's their net front guy. Louis Eriksson in Boston, he's their net front guy for the power play. Somebody has to step up for the Rangers just to be that guy and fill that role every night.
So what you're saying, if he's screened, he just kind of goes into a shell? He doesn't fight off the guys that are in front of him screening him?
He, like
we
a lot
see
of
it a lot.
goalies, you know, I'm not going to sell the farm here on a guy that I've trained, but no, you know, it's tough because they're trying to get down and block. And if they can't move out of that because they're used to more of a free-flowing game where they see the puck more often, it's tough to move after the puck leaves you when you don't see it in the first place.
Sorry for putting on this.
I know.
They're hammering him. The game is moments away. The night began with Glenn Sather having his banner being taken to the rafters. 5 cups with the Oilers, 4 as a coach, 1 as a GM, and here are some of his comments earlier tonight.
It's difficult to put in my words the gratitude for this honor, but my sincere wish is that every one of you in this building experience something, anything in your life that makes you feel like I do right now, the luckiest person on earth.
You know, we listened, and it was riveting, because the man has accomplished so much, and yet, Ron, he's so humble.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been in that room last night because it's the stories. You know?
That's the best part.
Yeah, because he likes to have fun with the guys.
Yep.
And he's always up to something. So I'm sure the guys had good stories on him. And, of course, it's an opportunity for him to get up and just say his thank yous to everybody. But I'm sure there was a lot of laughs in that room last night. I wish I could have been there.
Now, it's interesting. He talked about luck, but often in life you make your own luck.
He does, and, you know, he's got a great attitude, and, you know, we've mentioned it earlier in the show. He would bring in a lot of guests that would come into Hartford. When I was a minor league player, they'd bring these guys in to speak to us, teach us how to be pros, but a lot of it was sports psychologists. We did a lot of work with sports psychologists, and a lot of the players that I played with at that time came up to the NHL. Glenn Sather has his finger on the pulse. He knows how to and when to enter the locker room. One of my most memorable was during a 6-game losing streak when Glenn came in the locker room, and we needed him to. We knew it. He came in. Everybody was silent. Things weren't going well. And he only said something really quickly that just really sunk into us. He said, there's winning and there's misery. And right now we're experiencing misery. And as a hockey player, that's the worst feeling on the planet. You feel terrible day after day. You feel like you're leaving the rink like a thief in the night. When you hide from fans, you don't feel any confidence. So there is no option. You have to learn how to win. And Glenn was really good at setting the tone in meetings, and the timing was always perfect.
So would you say also he was really good at bringing guys in that made him a better manager, a better coach? Whatever was missing.
That's where I think his real brilliance is.
Yeah.
You know, he was able to surround his team. This isn't a guy that's insecure. Glenn's the complete opposite. He brings in brilliant people around him, and that's his strongest characteristic, that he's able to identify strong, smart, individual thinking hockey people that can come in and bring and galvanize a hockey club. His timing with the coaches was great. Tom Rennie, Tortorella, Alain Vigneault's the closer. You know, he's been able to have timing, luck, whatever you want to call it. You know, Glenn refers it to luck, but this is his career that he's forged through a hard path.
You know, he talks about how he wants to live in the present and look to the future, and he wants so much to get the Rangers a championship. One of those things that has to happen for that to occur is the development of some of these young players. One of those guys is Kevin Hayes. Now, well known that after practice yesterday, Alain Vigneault, in front of a lot of people, talked to Hayes. There was maybe some speculation he wouldn't be in the lineup tonight. He is. What does he need to improve?
Well, here, we even heard Glenn say this earlier, instincts. I saw it with Wayne Gretzky. Anybody that watched the Rangers last year would say that Kevin Hayes has fantastic instincts. From the All-Star break all through the rest of the season, he was the leading scorer and the best player. In the playoffs, we saw his legs maybe flounder a little bit. He didn't really have his second and third effort. I haven't seen that from him yet this year either. We need a second and third effort on the back check, on the forecheck. Strip players down in the neutral zone and create offense for yourself like you did last year. That's what Kevin Hayes has to do again.
All right, so something to watch how Kevin Hayes fares tonight with the rest of the Rangers. Glenn Sather's special night, and the Rangers hope it ends with a win at Edmonton. The game is coming up next right here on MSG. Enjoy, everyone.
Rangers Game Night has been presented by Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Glenn Sather built a dynasty in Edmonton, winning 5 Stanley Cups as a coach and general manager. He took a group of young players and turned them into champions and Hall of Famers. Tonight, Edmonton said thank you. Alain Vigneault coached his first NHL game in Montreal in 1997. His second NHL stop was Vancouver for 7 years. Now with the Rangers, he coaches his 1,000th NHL game tonight. We are live in Edmonton, Alberta for New York Rangers hockey tonight on Glenn Sather night. Alain Vigneault's 1,000th coaching game in the NHL. It's the New York Rangers and the Edmonton Oilers. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. The banner, the great name Glenn Sather, the 5 Stanley Cups he led the Oilers to as coach and general manager, honored here tonight by the Edmonton Oilers. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New York Rangers hockey. Sam Rosen along with Joe Micheletti and John Giannone. And what an emotional night it's been, and there's more emotion to come.
You know, it's just the whole couple of days here, and then culminated with this tonight, and how they honored Glenn and what he's meant to the city of Edmonton and to the game of hockey and to so many different people in their lives. And it was just a tremendously emotional time, and what a way to start a game.
Rangers have a tough task ahead of them. The Edmonton Oilers are playing well right now. Fast team that can score. Rangers are having trouble scoring, Joe.
Well, just 15 goals, Sam, in their last 8 games. You know, the goaltending continues to be strong for the Rangers. It has been all season. But when you're now starting to score less than 2 goals a game, it's difficult to win. And there you see what's been happening. So, and there's a long list of players. You know, Rick Nash, no goals in 6. 1 goal in 13 for JT Miller. Kreider, 0 goals in 9. You know, you can go down a list of the players that you expect to score, and they're all in slumps. So they've got to start going again. They've got to start scoring goals. And I just think, Sam, that they've got to get a little bit more selfish with the way they play. Get shots when you've got an opportunity, and get in there for some rebounds, and get a little bit dirtier with the way you need to score.
The Edmonton Oilers are without the #1 pick in this year's draft, Connor McDavid, who is a great prospect. But they have a lot of talent. They have drafted high. 4 #1 picks overall in the last 6 seasons. Our Land Rover scouting report, brought to you by the Tri-State area Land Rover retailers, features 2 players who are carrying the team right now. Taylor Hall, a former #1 pick overall, and Leon Draisaitl, who was a #3 pick overall.
Yeah, Draisaitl's played just 19 games, and you see his numbers. Taylor Hall told us this morning that he's learning something new every day. They've got a new coaching staff, new general manager, and Peter Chiarelli here. And Hall is such a dangerous player because he's got tremendous speed. He plays the wing, but he's not afraid to go to the net, and is right up there as far as shots as well. You can see this is the game-winning goal in overtime the other night against San Jose. Leon Draisaitl was a player that was drafted as a center. When he was recalled, he played wing. Then McDavid got hurt. They put him back at center, Sam, and I don't think they're going to move him there. He's been so good in that area. You see the quick release. They thought last year he might be a little bit too slow to play, but he worked in the offseason, got himself to be a faster player, a quicker player, and now he's a dangerous player.
When you start out as a coach in the NHL, you never know how long the career is going to last. Alain Vigneault started in 1997, little over 3 years in Montreal. Then he was out for 6 years. But he got a second chance in Vancouver, made the most of it, and now tonight, in his 3rd year with the Rangers, he's coaching his 1,000th game.
It's really remarkable to coach that long, and maybe the Edmonton coaches were talking about this morning and discussing Alain Vigneault and just saying, you know what? It's a tribute to how good he is that he's coached this long, and that's what it is. And when you mentioned, Sam, he went that 6 years without coaching in the league. And when asked tonight before the game about, what about in the future? And he says, I already learned that. I'm a day-to-day guy now, especially being a coach in this league. But he's had a marvelous career, and he's been so close to winning a cup.
The Rangers and the Oilers have hit the ice. We're getting set for a good game. We've got an all-Swedish goaltending matchup. Anders Nilsson, playing his 7th straight game, is #1 for Edmonton. And of course, Henrik Lundqvist is the Rangers' #1 and key to victory tonight. We are back in Edmonton, getting set for the Rangers and Edmonton Oilers. Closed captioning tonight is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Get out and play. Check out our Audi goaltending matchup. We mentioned it. 2 Swedish goaltenders. Henrik Lundqvist, 14 wins, 3rd in the NHL. Save percentage, tops in the NHL at .937. Goals against average right up there amongst the leaders. There is Anders Nilsson. Originally an Islanders draft pick. He played in the KHL last season. He's won the #1 job for the Edmonton Oilers. This is his 7th consecutive start.
Yeah, he's been really good. Those previous 6 starts, his save percentage over 94%. Anders the Giant, they nicknamed him here.
6'5". That man's a giant in coaching. 23rd coach to ever reach 1,000 games in the NHL.
And you know what? He's such a humble guy that, again, they asked him about it before the game. He says, listen, I'm here to enjoy Glenn's night. He says, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the night. This should be a good one, Sam.
Underway, Brassard, Zuccarello, and Miller with McDonough and Boyle. And already the puck is cleared over the glass, and the Rangers will get a power play.
Wow, what a start this could be for the Rangers.
8 seconds into the game.
Yeah, over the glass. Kara heads to the penalty box to serve it, and there it is, Nilsson. That's not the kind of start he was looking for. And there's Todd McClellan, who's the head coach in his first season with the Edmonton Oilers. Terrific coach, and he'll do a good job here with all these young players.
This Rangers power play brought to you by Volkswagen. Rangers have Boyle and McDonough, Nash, Brassard, and Zuccarello for the power play, which has scored goals in 2 of the last 5 games, but 2 goals in each of those. Brassard and Zuccarello. The Rangers move the puck around. Nash set up in front. A deflection by Boyle goes over the top. Davidson, number 88 on defense for Edmonton. McDonough moves it to Brassard. Brassard's shot went off the leg of Davidson. Centered by Zuccarello, intercepted. Good job by Brassard denying the clearing attempt. Now the puck is moved up the boards and stopped by McDonough. McDonough to Brassard. He fires, deflected, goes off the glass, and played by Zuccarello. To Dan Boyle. Rangers keeping the puck in the Edmonton zone. Nash. Brassard is set up in front. McDonough with a shot. Saved by Nilsson. He's got it in the glove.
Now that gives Edmonton a chance to make a change on the penalty kill. Boy, their failure to clear the puck gave the Rangers more offensive zone time. Brassard does a nice job keeping the play alive. There's the chance. Brassard knocks it down on midair. Now the Rangers go to work. McDonough jumps in, gets some help, and it led to the Rangers with more offensive zone chances. And eventually Nilsson able to make a save and get a whistle. There's another one.
A giveaway to Keith Yandel. Sets up J.T. Miller, who shot it wide. Yandel and Miller, Hayes, Lindberg, and Kreider. Second power play unit on. 30 seconds to go in the power play. Long shot deflected into the corner. Oilers try to clear it. Stopped by Yandel. Excuse me, it's stopped by Kevin Hayes. Hayes feeds Miller. Miller feeds Yandel. Yandel shoots it. A save by Nilsson. Hayes along the boards. Checked there by Eric Greiba, number 62. Lindberg trying to poke it loose. Hayes is there. Yandel keeps it in. 5 seconds to go in the power play. That shot kicked away by Nilsson. And the puck cleared out. That does it. Power play is over. Rangers get the opportunity early. Got a couple of shots on goal. But Nilsson able to come up with a save. Girardi with a long pass intended for Nash. Turns into an icing on the Rangers. And you mentioned Todd McClellan coming over after several years in San Jose where he did a good job.
Yep.
They decided to make a change there, and he quickly was grabbed by the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, yeah, he wasn't on the market very long, I'll tell you that. 7 years in San Jose, missed the playoffs last year, his only time he missed. And he said, tonight is our challenge against the Rangers. He said their speed game, the way they make plays off the face-off like this, he said that will be a challenge for our young team.
The starting lineups coming in at the top of your screen are brought to you by Infinity. Luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Some changes in the lineups. Emerson Edom is in for the Rangers. Victor Stahlberg is a healthy scratch. He is the only extra. The injured players, a little pushing and shoving. Jesper Fast and Taylor Hall pushing for position. Right now the Rangers have Dominic Moore with Rick Nash and Jesper Fast on. Face-off win by Moore. Already installed the defensive pair. Puck around the boards, reversed. And intercepted by Nash. Quick shot, a save made by Nielsen. Head coach Alain Vigneault telling us before the game he thought the team got plenty of shots in that game against Vancouver, but need more net presence. Felt the goaltender was able to see the shots pretty well.
Yeah, not many second chance opportunities by the Rangers as well.
Puck fired off the boards by Henrik Lundqvist. Back forward is Puffbaum, Oscar Puffbaum, number 77. Puck went off the stick of Emerson Edom, who's on. Gadzik, number 20, is on. Gazdic, excuse me, with Anton Lander. Swedish centerman. Long shot by Davidson. Brandon Davidson shot. Played here by Gazdic, number 20. Edom back for it. Took a hit. And the puck cleared out. There's Yandel across. Yandel makes a strong move and shoots. Saved by Nielsen. Oilers, 5th game of a 5-game homestand, and they've won the first 4. They have a winning record on home ice. Not been a good road team, and they will head out on the road after this game, go to Boston Monday and to New York on Tuesday to play the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. Home for 1 game next week. Off the boards comes J.C. Miller. Gets it to McDonough. Puck knocked down, and the Oilers come out. Taylor Hall, number 4, on the puck. Racing in, boy, that's that speed you talked about, Joe. Miller took a hard hit from Darnell Nurse. Nurse, a former first-round draft pick. Is a real good, promising defenseman.
Yeah, he's just 20 years of age. Another one of those young players, Sam. And, you know, they're trying to rebuild this defense. There's Nurse. When we talked to him this morning, we said, okay, you were only supposed to come up for just a short period of time because they needed somebody in the lineup. You've been up for over 6 weeks. What's the difference in your game? He says, I'm moving the puck quicker. He says, I'm trying not to get caught. Get it, move it, and he's an active player.
He's an excellent young hockey player, but in his family, he's considered the 4th best athlete. His uncle is Donovan McNabb. His dad played in the Canadian Football League. And his sister is a star at the University of Connecticut in basketball. So he's sitting there going, what about me?
He's making more money than all of them now, though.
He's going to be a good one.
Yeah, he's 210 pounds. He's about 10 pounds heavier than he was last year. So he's getting bigger. And again, he's one of these players. He likes to get up into play, and so they tried to just say, listen, let the game come to you. And then you can start playing, but just stay a little quieter with the way you play. And the kid is learning quickly.
Matt Hendricks, number 23, on against Jarrett Stoll. Rangers fire it out. And whistle down for an icing. We are nearly 5 minutes into the game. Rangers have 6 shots on goal. Oilers have 2. There's no score.
We're seeing a lot of different line changes already. I mean, Alain Vigneault's not sticking with anything here in the early part of this game. We've got Nash is playing on different lines.
This is the third different line he's been on.
So he's out there now with Stoll on one side and Hayes on the other.
It's an interesting approach by Alain Vigneault.
You know what? We talked about 8 games, 15 goals in the last 8 games. You got to try and find something. And again, I've said it before. I think these players, they're unselfish. Some of them need to get selfish. That'll help the scoring woes.
Rangers second in the Metropolitan Division to Washington. Here's Greiber with a shot. Saved by Lundqvist. Big rebound in front. Penalty upcoming.
Wow, it'll be Kreider. I thought Kreider actually made a good play coming back, but he gets whistled for the play because Draisaitl was going to the net on a rebound.
New York penalty over 22 minutes interference.
And Kreider, I thought, came back and did a good job, but we'll get a better look here to see where the stick is. Boy, oh boy, that looked like there's actually 2 rebounds, and so Kreider, he'll go off, and so we're seeing some early penalties in this one. Now the Rangers have to try and kill something off.
Rangers have given up only 2 power play goals over the last 6 games. And they quickly clear. Rangers have Nash and Stoll on with McElrath and McDonough. It's off the skate of Draisaitl and cleared out by McDonough. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is on, number 93. That pass off his stick, cleared down by McDonough. Taylor Hall is on. And on Draisaitl, Justin Schultz, number 19. Good work along the boards by Dominic Moore.
Well, that was 1 against 3, huh, Sam? 1 against 3, and he was getting the job done. Real good effort.
Nugent-Hopkins sends it around the boards. Fired off the glass and out. Good job by the Rangers. 1 minute to go in the power play. Oilers' first 16 games, their power play was real good, but over the last 13, just 5 for 42, under 12%. Pass in front, saved by Lundqvist. He got the rebound, but the stick would put in. The former Ranger Lori Korpikoski involved.
I think he got it, Sam. I think Korpikoski ended up getting a stick on it. Good job by the Oilers coming out of their zone, moving the puck up the ice quickly. 1 shot, good stop by Lundqvist, and then a second one, but you could see he had trouble with the stick. Watch the stick of Lundqvist. He lost it. He's got it between his arm. And so he's trying to get the pads together. When he slid over, his stick hit the post. And so he lost it. He had it in the crook of his arm. And Lori Korpikoski gets 1 chance, and then he gets his own rebound because Lundqvist can't do anything with the stick where it was. And that gives the Oilers the early lead.
So the Oilers capitalize on their power play chance. Rangers failed on theirs, and Edmonton with the early lead. Jordan Eberle, number 14, sends it in. Jujhar Khaira, there's an interesting name. He's from Surrey, British Columbia, of Eastern Indian descent. Jujhar Khaira is number 54.
I think he's got more talent. He's a tough kid.
And a big kid.
Yeah, real big. And I think he's got more talent to show.
Brassard tied up. Eberle moves the puck. Eberle's been playing very well in his recent streak for Edmonton. Offside. The puck was out of the zone. 7.5 minutes gone by. First period. The Oilers score on the power play. Lori Korpikoski gets it. Back in Edmonton, we put John Giannone behind Henrik Lundqvist. John, how are you?
Yeah, Sam, real good, thanks. It was a bird's eye view of what happened there, and Joe, you called it when Lundqvist slid across the crease. He lost control of his stick, and that certainly played a role in the goal. And his frustration afterward, kind of his body language, just kind of looking up and saying, what did I just do? Sort of spoke volumes. You know, we talk often, guys, about athletes and their routine. They're so routined. Tonight's ceremony honoring Glenn Sather interrupted that routine a little bit in terms of time. The puck dropped maybe 15 minutes later. Henrik Lundqvist had a few power bars on the bench during that ceremony to keep his energy level up.
Thanks, John. We'll be checking in with John throughout the game, and he'll be back with us between periods. Puck out of the zone. Puck bomb brought it back in offside Edmonton. Shots are even at 6 apiece.
There's a new line again for Rick Nash with Kreider on one side and Hayes in the middle. New line, he's been on that one before, but again, they've been moved around here in the early going, and Stoll now comes back on the ice with Edom and Glass.
Yes, the traditional fourth line, Boyle and Stahl, the defensive pair. Just got word that Patrick Kane has scored and extended his point-scoring streak to 25 games. Wow. Tomorrow night on MSG Plus, the Rangers move from Edmonton to Calgary. The Flames have won 4 in a row. And 8 straight home games. Live coverage begins at 9:30 p.m. following the Islanders and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rangers and Flames tomorrow night on MSG Plus. Hope you'll join us.
Patrick Kane, if he scores in 26 more consecutive games, he'll tie number 99.
Well, he's almost halfway there.
Oh, it's something, isn't it? Great to see Wayne last night.
Yes.
Wayne had to leave last night after being part of this big dinner last night for Glenn. 51 consecutive game scores for Wayne Gretzky. And they got hurt, missed 6. That's why it ended.
But I will say this, in today's game, Joe, with the big goaltenders, here the Oilers 2-on-1 down low. Good play by Lundqvist with a stick. Edom the other way. It's tough.
Oh, sure.
That's a great streak that Patrick Kane.
Tremendous.
Darnell Nurse, number 25, throws the puck. Oilers a 1-0 lead, scoring only their second power play goal in their last 14 chances in the last 6 games, including this one. The one-time first-round draft pick of the Rangers, Lauri Korpikoski, got the goal. He's on the ice wearing number 28. Gilson covers the puck at the side of the crease. Nearly 9 minutes in.
I'm sorry, Sam. The Oilers now have the last 4 shots on goal. Of course, the Rangers had the early power play on the penalty by Nielsen for shooting the puck over the glass. And now Todd McClellan doesn't like something.
Questioning the lines.
Well, you know what? I think he's questioning the fact that there wasn't icing
on that play.
Yeah, because I thought it was icing, and the puck, when it bounced off the boards, came right to the crease, and the goaltender put his glove on it and froze it. But I think it should have been an icing, and I think that's what his argument is.
Brassard, Miller, and Zuccarello the line for the Rangers. The veteran defenseman Andre Sekera is on for Edmonton, number 2. He changes the pronunciation of his name each year from Sekera to Sekera. In Carolina was Sekera, then he changed it to Sekera. Now it's back to Sekera. That's okay, whatever he wants. We're with him. Eberle comes out of the corner. Eberle shot a backhander save. And there's a penalty upcoming on the play.
The Rangers. This is the thing that Eberle has been doing. Eberle was hurt and missed some training camp, missed the start of the season, came back and was ineffective, and they said, look where you're getting all your shots from the outside. You got to go harder to the net. And this is what he does. Look at the strong move and gets that shot.
New York Code number 10, 2 minutes for roughing.
And JT Miller ends up taking a 2-minute penalty for roughing.
At 9:27, so the Oilers have their second power play of the game. Scoring on the first one at 6:35. So an important penalty kill here for the Rangers. Moore and Foss, McDonough and Girardi on for the Rangers. Oilers control. That shot is saved, and another save by Lundqvist on the rebound by Korpikoski.
Boy, that was a tough one. The first one deflected on the way to Lundqvist, and he got the legs together to make that save, and made another real good one on Korpikoski after that.
We got Miro Pakarinen on number 26 with Korpikoski and Mark Letestu. Letestu, former Columbus Blue Jacket. Eberle with the puck, number 14. Now Sekera moving with it. Wrist shot, saved by Lundqvist through a screen in front. Korpikoski with a screen in front. Sent the other way by Dominic Moore.
Yeah, it's pretty simple power play. They're just throwing the puck to the net. They get somebody there. Korpikoski has had an excellent start for the Oilers, scoring the goal and then nearly getting a couple more. And Lundqvist has really had to concentrate to find the puck here early.
Oilers have gotten a big jump from their power play, scoring the first one and getting chances here on the second one. That long shot went wide. Hall plays it to Nugent Hopkins on with Draisaitl. Teddy Purcell with the puck. Taken away by Nash, and he clears. Justin Schultz is on as well for Edmonton. Just over 9 minutes to go. And the Oilers have had the last 7 shots on goal in the game. Oscar Lindberg fires it all the way down. Nielsen leads it for Schultz.
Yeah, Schultz was the player that missed 14 games with an injury as well. He's come back and played well.
Draisaitl pulls up. That was a pass that went all the way through Tanner Glass. Able to clear it all the way down. Glass goes off. Zuccarello and Brassard on now. Final seconds of the power play. Good effort by Brassard on Davidson. And back on the ice is JT Miller. Game's at full strength. Oilers had 2 shots on goal on that power play. 1-0 Edmonton leading it. 8:20 to go first period. And Davidson playing it across and it's fired in. And Boyle. Rangers have Kevin Hayes on. Starting to make a line change. Hayes, Kreider, and Nash the line now. Pass in front, Hayes and Kreider. That's broken up, comes out to McElrath. Big drive, went off the defenseman. Shot by Kreider, and sand on it. It's fired around the boards by Matt Hendricks. Kept in by McElrath. Deflection, score! Matt Zuccarello! Quick turnaround shot by Zuccarello in front, and the Rangers have tied it at 1.
Well, we talked about McElrath and how quickly he likes to shoot the puck. He shoots it the first time, and it nearly bounces off the goaltender behind him and in. It didn't, but he'll get another chance. We'll see the good forecheck by the Rangers. And eventually, you know, this shot here goes off and just misses him. And then McElrath will get another chance. And this time it'll get deflected, and then it'll end up on the stick. Here's the shot, deflected to Zuccarello. There's the spinorama and the tying goal.
You know what that is, Joe? That is Dylan McElrath's first point in the NHL.
Good for him. Good for
Very
him.
nice.
The kid's worked awfully hard.
That was real good. Zuccarello gets the goal. He had been in a scoring slump. Dylan McElrath's first NHL point is an assist on the goal by Matt Zuccarello. Sekera with the puck. Nice move against Kreider. He takes it in on the backhand off the post. Nash carries it out. Zuccarello gets the goal, his 12th from Kreider and McElrath at 12-16 to tie the game. Good job at the line by Oscar Lindberg against Taylor Hall.
And for Zuccarello, he had come into this game with scoring just 1 goal in his previous 9. So that's a big one for him.
Around the boards, icing whistled against the Oilers. 6:47 to go here in the first period. And the game tied at 1. Number 12 on the season for the Rangers team leader, Matt Zuccarello.
And so the icing, and so that line right back on the ice. Quick rest. And Miller again on this line tonight playing the left wing with Zuccarello and Brassard.
How about the defensive combination of the 2 left-handers, McDonough and Yandel? Yandel to McDonough. Wrist shot deflected, goes off the glass. Faced down by Brassard, played by Darnell Nurse for Edmonton. Down the boards. And out of the zone, recovered by Yandel. Brassard back to Yandel.
Yeah, Sam, that's a good pickup by you. McDonough, normally, you know, he played the right side only because of injury before, but now, you know, they're moving some players around. And again, trying to find the combinations that'll work.
Here's Eberle for the Oilers. It's in on Mark Stahl. Save by Lundqvist.
Oh, good shot by Jordan Eberle.
Around the board, Boyle there to play it. Reverses to Stahl. Under 6 minutes to go. Long pass tipped ahead by Brassard. Rangers get a line change as Glass, Edom, and Stoles come on. The stick was knocked away out of the hands of one of the Oilers and recovered.
Yeah, Dan Boyle stood up for the hit and only got the stick. Oilers player right at the last moment looked up and saw Boyle coming and was able to sidestep most of that check.
It was on Pakarinen. Lero Pakarinen. Here's Taylor Hall. Checked by Yandel and McElrath. McElrath takes it away and moves it. Taken back by Leon Draisaitl. Hall with a backhander that goes wide. Teddy Purcell behind the net. Played it off the back of the net. Good job by McElrath on him. Out to Darnell Nurse. Draisaitl to Nurse. Shot blocked by Kreider and poked away. Good play by Lundqvist. Cleared out by Hayes. Nurse with Kreider on him. Draisaitl plays it back. Sekera reverses.
Now, this has been the best line for Edmonton with Draisaitl on the ice.
Fired around the boards by Lundqvist. Blocked by Hendricks. Korpikoski's pass comes through. Puckbaum shot a save with a left pad by Lundqvist. Back of the net, chased down by Hendricks. He's checked by Girardi. Hendricks again in front, and they score! Is it Korpikoski again?
Yes.
Wow.
The pace of this game has been tremendous here in the first period. Edmonton, we talked about their skating. They just get it in, and then they go to work. Lundqvist can't play the hard shoot-in, but he'll come out here. He tries to make a play. There reaches, can't get the puck, and then it was going out aggressively. You can just see Korpikoski. Too much time. Two players went to the puck handler behind the net. They left Korpikoski alone, and he finishes.
Lauri Korpikoski burning the team that drafted him into the NHL. He was traded to Phoenix from the Rangers. Now here he is with the Edmonton Oilers. And he's got 2 goals here in the first period. And with under 4 minutes remaining in the first period, it's a 2-1 Edmonton lead. Boyle plays it off the glass. Korpikoski's second of the game, his 5th of the season, from Hendricks and Schultz at 15:47. Brandon Davidson with the puck, 3.5 minutes to go here in the first. Edmonton with 13 shots on goal. 11 of the last 13 in this period. Nielsen. Boards for Purcell, a little touch pass to Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl moves in, looks, pass across, Taylor Hall, in the middle, and score! Oh! The Oilers are flying here. They move the puck beautifully. Teddy Purcell finishes, and it's 3-1 Edmonton.
You know, Draisaitl was saying the reason this line works is because we can pass it, we can skate, and we can shoot it. And they do all of that right here. Look at the beautiful passing. As Draisaitl over to the other side where Hall is there, and instead of shooting, he finds Purcell, who can really shoot the puck. Here it is again. Unselfish play, and the Rangers just a little slow in their coverage. This is a team that's moving quickly up the ice. This Oiler team, and boy, oh boy, Teddy Purcell finishes the play.
Teddy Purcell, who played with the LA Kings. He's working with Hall of Famer Adam Oates, who's here. Matt Hendricks working with him, but Purcell looking good on that line, and a good finish. That puck deflected out of play up in the netting. 2:47 to go, first period, and the Edmonton Oilers have a 3-1 lead.
To look at our Volvo Telestrator, that's Ryan McDonough, who pitches in to keep it in the offensive zone. And here comes Edmonton the other way. And you'll notice here, 4-on-3. McDonough's trying hard to come back, middle of your screen. The Oilers take advantage of the 4-on-3 by moving forward, moving the puck. McDonough just a little bit late coming back to cover up as Purcell was taking the shot. Gives the Oilers a 2-goal lead.
And that's bad news for the Rangers, who have not been scoring much at all, as we said right at the top. And now have given up 3 here in the first period. Nash, Hayes, and Kreider on for the Rangers. Darnell Nurse with the puck. Draisaitl had one of the assists on the Purcell goal. Purcell from Hall and Draisaitl at 16:57.
The Rangers have to get sharper, Sam. Every time just about Edmonton brings the puck down the ice, they're carrying it over the blue line.
Kreider's shot deflected by Nurse. Kept in. Hayes got it to Jesper Fast. Finds it for Kreider and hit the referee. Kreider gets there. Sets up Mark Stahl. Stahl with Girardi. And Taylor Hall, it's 6 points in the last 4 games. 3 goals, 3 assists. A 4-game point scoring streak. This will be an icing on the Oilers with 1:50 to go. Fans don't like the call by the linesman. Download MSG Go, the only app that lets you watch MSG Network's coverage of live Knicks games anywhere. Download now at the App Store or Google Play. MSG Go is currently available to MSG Network subscribers of participating television providers. Brassard, Zuccarello, and Miller on with Boyle and Stahl. Here's Sikora moving the puck up to Draisaitl. Stahl looks around. Nugent Hopkins on him. Puck taken away. Long shot by Schultz, gloved by Lundqvist, and he holds it. 1:30 to go. First period. The Oilers, with 15 shots on goal, have a 3-1 lead. DraftKings brings us our DraftKings Spotlight on Rick Nash, who has been up and down. First 17 games, just 2 goals. Next 4 games, 6 goals. No goals the last 6 games. Play daily fantasy hockey on DraftKings.com, the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Rangers. Rangers down 3-1. Have been a little loose defensively.
Well, you know, they had that early power play, and at that point, Sam, they had 6 shots on goal. That was early in the period. They've only had 3 shots since.
Long shot deflected off of McDonough wide of the net. Jesper Fast clears it out, and it's out of play. Actually went into one of the benches. Rangers have a line of Moore, Lindberg, and Fast on, as Alain Vigneault has really gone through a lot of changes in this first period.
Yeah, again, we've talked about it. They're 10 games over 500, but he hasn't settled on any combinations as of yet. Trying to find some offense, some balance up front.
Hendricks face-off win. Shot by Klefbom was blocked. McDonough fires it off the boards, down the ice, and on goal. Nielsen steers it. Klefbom around to Schultz. Justin Schultz playing ahead, blocked by Girardi. Picked up by Girardi. He's double-teamed, and Nielsen poked it into the corner. Dominic Moore back to Jesper Fast. Under a minute to go in the first period. Shot deflected in the near corner. Up the boards and lifted out. McDonough's there. 2 goals by Lori Korpikoski for Edmonton. Teddy Purcell has 1. And Matt Zuccarello, the goal for the Rangers. Bring the whole family and get this close with the Westchester Knicks. Great seats are still available. Tickets starting at $10 are on sale now. Visit WestchesterKnicks.com. You'll enjoy it. Some good basketball. And some future NBA players there. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, another one of those #1 picks overall. One guy that's missing is Neil Yakupov, who's out injured, missing his 7th game.
That whole line is out. There was Pouliot on left wing, McDavid in the middle, Yakupov on right wing. They're all hurt.
Really missed the opportunity to see Connor McDavid. Not expected back until around the All-Star break. Injured in the game against the Philadelphia Flyers.
Just his game, Sam, had just been elevated and elevated and elevated from the start of the season. He played about 4 or 5 games. They finally told him, hey, listen, why don't you go play? Don't worry about all these older guys and these veteran guys. You go play your game. And he turned it up a couple of notches. And now he's become such an important part of this team. He's not just an 18-year-old kid that they're bringing along. He's a big part of this team, and they really miss him not being in the lineup.
We were talking with Craig McTavish, who's the Senior Vice President for Player Personnel. Last night, he said Connor McDavid is more than they expected. They expected something good. They got something really special. Sekera backcourt was taken down by Miller. Fortunately, no ball. Everly missed the puck. Dumped in by Kara. Ujar Kara, they call him JJ. Horn sounds ending the first period. Good first period for the Edmonton Oilers, who scored 3 goals on Henrik Lundqvist, had 15 shots, and lead 3-1 into the first.
Well, the Oilers, the early part, the first minute of the game, 8 seconds in, they take the penalty. The Rangers end up with 6 early shots, but Edmonton was able to get past that, not allow a goal on the Rangers power play, and then they found their game and they skated.
Rangers head off down 3-1. Coming up, it's the Delta Intermission Report. John Giannone rejoins us. Derek Brassard will be his special guest. Bill Pito's back in the studio at MSG with the Audi MSG 150. And Steve Valiquette and Ron Duguay have highlights and analysis coming up on the Delta Intermission Report. Glenn Sather night here in Edmonton. And the new Oilers spoiling the Rangers' attempt to come up with a win. Thus far, it's 3-1.
The New York Rangers Intermission Report is presented by Delta. The timely information you need with the Fly Delta app. Delta, keep climbing.
We are back in Edmonton. Yes, there is some snow on the ground, but not too bad. Getting set for the second period. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. Check out our cold hard facts. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. There it is. And our cold hard facts deal with Rangers head coach Alain Vigneault tonight, becoming the 23rd coach in NHL history to coach 1,000 games in the NHL, the first ever to reach 1,000 games as a head coach of the New York Rangers. 3 President's trophies, 2 with Vancouver, 1 with the Rangers, and a Jack Adams trophy, Jack Adams Award as Coach of the Year. Well, he'll have to do some coaching to get his team back in it here in the second.
Well, the Rangers need to be sharper than they were in the first period. I think throughout their lineup, Edmonton was able to gain the blue line. They carried the puck most of the period. From the defenseman to the goaltender to the forwards, they still didn't get enough scoring chances, and they didn't defend as well as they normally do.
Brassard, Zuccarello, and Nash are reunited with Stahl and Boyle, and the takeaway by Klefbom, who's blocked by Mark Stahl. Pass in deep. Kyra's pass in front. Save made by Lundqvist. Klefbom down with it. Backhand is stopped by Lundqvist. Around the board, Zuccarello after. Down comes Justin Schultz. And it's deflected out of the zone. The Oilers starting play tonight are last in their division, but with a 4-game winning streak, suddenly are within reach of the playoffs. It's not that far. Zuccarello, good pass to Kreider. He's in. He scores! Beautiful goal by Chris Kreider off the feed from Matt Zuccarello. and it's a 3-2 game.
Now this starts in the Rangers zone with Henrik Lundqvist, and the Rangers come up the ice quickly, and Chris Kreider will end up taking a pass from Zuccarello, making a little move to his backhand. Here it is again, trying to catch Edmonton on a change. Zuccarello takes the long pass, finds Kreider, nice move, backhand, through the legs of the goaltender Nielsen, and the Rangers back to within a goal. Very alert play by Henrik Lundqvist to catch Edmonton on the line change, and that leads to the goal.
Chris Kreider had only one goal over the last 12 games. He comes up with a goal here, and it's a 3-2 game. Big goal in the opening minute of the second period. Casey Miller's pass tipped. Lundqvist will get an assist on the goal, along with Zuccarello. 53 seconds to top of the goal. 5th of the season for Chris Kreider. Sekera sends it into the Ranger zone. And was cleared out by McDonough. Brought back in by Draisaitl. A save off the chest of Lundqvist. Rangers able to move it out. Davidson's pass tipped ahead by Mark Letestu, number 55. Foss was able to get it to Girardi. And Emerson Edom. Lindbergh, Foss, and Edom on for the Rangers. And then Davidson with the outlet pass. Draisaitl's shooting was blocked by McElrath, played by Edom. Edom pulls up, finds Yandel coming off the bench. He was stopped by Letestu, gets a shot that deflects into the corner, fires again, it's gloved by Nielsen, and he holds on.
Now Chris Kreider used his speed that time, and that's something the Oilers coaches were talking about this morning, is trying to negate the speed and size and strength of Kreider. And he used all those things there and made a nifty little move to the backhand to slide it in. So those are the players. You mentioned it, Sam. I mean, there are a lot of them that are in goal slumps. They've got to start scoring some goals. The other thing that's important for this game, the Rangers have got to put pressure on Edmonton in their own zone. It's a young team that makes a lot of mistakes in their own end, but you've got to keep it in there and force some giveaways.
Sekera off the board. Stahl got a piece of it, and it deflected into the Rangers bench.
Sekera is one of the players that's starting to play better as well. He had a poor start after signing a 5-year contract. I expected him to, help solidify a defense that's really been depleted the last number of years. But in the last couple of weeks, he's starting to find his game. He's been a partner of the youngster Darnell Nurse, and they've been pretty good together.
Longtime Buffalo Sabre, went to Carolina, and then finished last season with the LA Kings before signing with the Edmonton Oilers. We are 2:39 into the second period. Rangers getting the early goal from Chris Kreider and cutting the Oilers' lead to 3-2. Jarrett Stoll. This is a return to a familiar place for Jarrett Stoll.
Right.
He started his NHL career here in Edmonton. He was originally drafted by Calgary, didn't sign with them. His rights were traded to Toronto with time running out in that 2-year span, and he signed the contract, but they didn't get it in time. He would have been a Toronto Maple Leaf. So he went back in the draft, and Edmonton picked him in the second round. Kevin Lowe made the pick. That's deflected on goal, stopped by Lundqvist. Left bomb toward the net. Off the stick of McDonough. Girardi played it. Pakarinen behind the net. Girardi up to center glass. Stoll, Moore, and Glass. The line for the Rangers. Cleared out. McElrath. Now Yandel for Zuccarello. Kreider picking up speed, controlling the puck well. His pass intercepted and cleared out by Teddy Purcell. Schultz was bumped on the play by Kreider.
There's a new line again. Zuccarello out with Hayes and Kreider.
Lundqvist plays the glass. Draisaitl to Hall. Now Leon Draisaitl back to Taylor Hall. Teddy Purcell checked there by Kevin Hayes. Hayes is another one of those players in a scoring slump that the Rangers would love to see break out. Hayes against Greiba. Greiba, the former Ottawa Senator.
Yeah, 0 for his last 9 games in the goal scoring department is Hayes coming into this one.
Davidson. Blocked by Fost. Now Boyle. Greiba tried to stop it at the line. Played across by Letestu to Davidson. Hendricks was stopped by Boyle, and Lindbergh takes over. Lindbergh against Korpikoski. Mark Stahl moves in and shoots. Save by Nielsen. Stahl gets to the puck. Around for Fost. Leaves it for Edom. Edom checked by Davidson. Now Brassard just on. Edom puts it in the corner. Brassard had it knocked away. Stahl recovers. Rangers have to regroup. Over 5 minutes gone by in the second. Rangers down 3-2. Boyle of Brassard. Brassard up the middle. Behind the back pass. It's taken away by Letestu. He's out with Jordan Eberle. Nice play by Nash coming back. Nash hit by Hendricks. Greiba plays it out to center. Matt Hendricks trying to get it to Jordan Eberle. Eberle's offside. 5:27 gone by here in the second. Tomorrow night on MSG, this is one you don't want to miss. On Frank Sinatra's 100th birthday, a century of Sinatra, with a special presentation of his legendary concert at the Garden, the main event, tomorrow night at 8 on MSG Network.
Well, the Rangers had 9 shots in that first period. 6 of those 9 were by defensemen. So as I mentioned earlier, they need to get a little bit more sustained pressure in the offensive zone and get more of those forwards involved in the play. Even Brassard, I think Brassard's thought process there, Sam, was to shoot. It looked like he just kind of lost control of it at the last minute and then tried to make the play.
Gandil kicks it out of the zone. Eberle recovers for Edmonton. Sekera just ahead for Eberle. Good play by Yandel to break it up. Darnell Nurse to Jordan Eberle. Shot a save. Once again, Kara. Big forward. Jar Kara. This is an icing on the Rangers. 6:05 gone by here in the second.
Well, the Rangers have been guilty of a lot of icings in this game, so it tells you that they're being pressured, they're having to move the puck quickly, and they're not connecting on a lot of passes. So this has got to be 5-6 icings at least, I'd say, in this game. And that's unusual for them.
Rangers will play in Calgary tomorrow night. And head home for a game Tuesday night against these Edmonton Oilers.
Calgary's won 8 in a row at home. I'll tell you what, Johnny Gaudreau, what a hockey player he is. You talk about worth every penny to watch him play. Wow.
Averaging just about a point a game. Stoll took a hit. Battling for the puck along the boards. Zuccarello trying to move it. McElrath there. Lundqvist stops play. 6:31 gone by. Second period. Chris Kreider scoring in the opening minute of the second. Rangers down 3-2. Here's our Cadillac trivia question of the night. Of the 23 head coaches to reach 1,000 NHL games, only 3 have coached the Rangers at some point in their careers. Who are they? Well, one is Alain Vigneault. We give you one.
Yeah.
Now you got to get the other 2.
That was recent.
Fired up the boards by McDonough, but blocked by Purcell. Excuse me, by Schultz. Girardi to McDonough. Tipped ahead by Kreider. There's Nielsen is the goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers. He beat out Cam Talbot to take over the #1 goaltending job. Taylor Hall with a puck. Shot by Draisaitl, save. And the net gets knocked off.
Boy, was that close. Lundqvist was moving to his left. Draisaitl took the shot right off the pass. There it comes again. Sliding into the net was one of the Oilers players, Teddy Purcell, I believe. Lundqvist just gets a piece of that shot by Draisaitl. Or Klefbom. Klefbom that took the shot, pardon me.
No, Klefbom was the man who slid into the net.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I knew Draisaitl was involved somehow.
Oh, you were right about that. He did take the shot. Yandel, pressured by Korpikoski, who has 2 goals in the game. Oilers regroup. Esty fired in. It was deflected across. Boss plays it back to Yandel. Boss, Lindberg, and Edelman for the Rangers. Different combinations continue. Korpikoski pressured by Edom. Davidson was hit by McElrath.
You know, I think all Alain Vigneault has to do is look at the total shots. 11 shots through in the first period and a half. Not enough opportunities. And again, not enough pressure. And give Edmonton credit. I mean, Edmonton is, you know, they're playing a skating game. Their defense are doing a pretty good job coming out of their zone. That's an area they've struggled most of the season.
Only 5 shots since early in the first period, Joe, when they were out shooting the Oilers 6-2.
Yeah.
Miller.
And another icing.
Yep. Chopped it down the ice on the backhand. We've talked about Leon Draisaitl, who is a couple of years ago, 2014, he was the 3rd pick overall in the draft. You see his points per game.
I thought it was interesting, and talking to him about this morning, because there's been so much talk that he looks like a much faster, quicker player this year, and he worked on that in the offseason. So the other thing, he said, my weight's exactly the same, 215 pounds. He said, but you know what's different? He said, I got rid of all my body fat. So he really worked hard to get more physically fit and to become a faster player, and it's all paying off for him.
Miller deep against Darnell Nurse. Brassard is there. And here is Miller, Brassard, and Nash. There's Nash. Drops it back. That shot, score! Derek Brassard with the shot high in the slot, and the Rangers have come back to tie it at 3.
Well, the hard work on the offensive zone, and eventually the shot. Just shoot the puck, get somebody going there, and make it difficult on the goaltender. J.T. Miller goes down, gets back up, stays in there, helps out. He and Brassard, boy, that's just good hard work. Rangers pinch in, so they keep the play alive. And then that long shot, and there you see Nielsen having trouble picking it up. So real good work together as a group. And the Rangers keep it in the zone and just take the shot. And now we got Tanner Glass. We might have a little action here. Some discussion is going on with Gazdic.
He's a big man, Gazdic.
Yes, he is. So the Rangers 2 goals here in the second period. Have tied it.
If there's one player who has been scoring consistently, it's Derek Brassard. Takeaway in the shot by Pecorinen that went wide. That shot stopped by Lundqvist. Brassard now with 4 goals in the last 6 games. And 6 points over the last 6 games.
Well, we made a point of mentioning it, that he is shooting the puck more often since Derek Stepan went down with an injury, and that's helped.
He becomes the second double-digit goal scorer for the Rangers with 10. And pass back by Glass going all the way back in the Rangers zone. Brassard with his 10th from Nash at 8:44. The Rangers come back to tie. Let's see if they can maintain whatever momentum they picked up. McElrath reverses. Zuccarello is there. Zuccarello, Kreider, and Brassard, the goal scorers. Look at Kreider go around Greiber and get to the puck. Deflected away. Davidson trying to move it. Now Teddy Purcell. And a good hustling job by Zuccarello to come back and take it away. Zuccarello. Double team. And Draisaitl able to move it. Rangers have had only 3 shots on goal here in the second period and have scored 2 goals. Indeed, Darnell First, the defenseman, got knocked down by Girardi. That shot by Letestu was saved by Lundqvist. Hayes. McDonough high with a shot off the glass. Good setup for Ryan McDonough. Girardi with a puck. 9:20 to go in the second. Rangers have come back to tie twice in this game. At 1, and now at 3. Not led. Sekera had it knocked away. Good play by Jesper Fast. Shot by Stahl. That hit the defenseman in front. Nurse. Boyle to Edom. Back the other way to Lindberg. Lindberg moves in and shoots it, blocked by Sekera. Jordan Eberle. Eberle moves in and gets the shot off. Tough shot that was stopped by Lundqvist. Voss lifts it into the Edmonton zone. Oilers have 25 shots on goal. Rangers 13. Boyle off the boards. Brassard gets it out of the zone. Brassard with a shot saved by Nielsen. Another good shot by Derek Brassard. Puck was put back in the Rangers zone by Yandel. It was outside, and offside is whistled. 8:21 to go in the second. Derek Brassard gets his 10th of the season. It's tied. Derek Brassard scores a goal, the 3rd for the Rangers. Time for our Papa John's 3rd goal replay.
Now, just some great work in the Oilers zone by the Rangers. And then the Oilers, they have 2 players that get caught on the wrong side of the puck because of the Rangers' work. And then there's the long shot. And screened was Nielsen, couldn't pick it up, and the Rangers come back to tie.
The day after the Rangers score 3 or more goals, get 50% off your regular menu priced online order at papajohns.com with promo code Rangers3. Available at participating Papa John's locations. Nielsen makes the save on that shot and holds it for the faceoff. Dylan McElrath with an assist in the first period, his first NHL point. Congratulations to him. Henrik Lundqvist with his first assist of the season on the Kreider goal earlier in the second period. Brassard, Nash, and Miller the combination now for the Rangers. Figure out, Joe, how many different line combinations Alain Vigneault has used in this game.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Miller goes deep with the puck. Checked there by Nurse. Brassard is there. Miller keeps it alive. Good effort against Nurse.
He has played hard, Miller. And he had a lot to do with the Rangers' 3rd goal.
Rangers putting some pressure on. Now Darnell Nurse has some room. Fires a pass ahead for Kara that was broken up. On that last goal, Mark Stahl has also been given an assist. So it's Brassard from Nash and Stahl at 8:44. Puck deflected out of play. 7:25 to go here in the second.
Nurse and Tanner Glass having a conversation.
Separated by the officials.
Edmonton has tried to be a little bit more physical. Glass with the hit, he held up. Wasn't much. And I think Glass said, or pardon me, Nurse said something to him. I thought Glass, to me, it looked like he held up on the hit.
Face-off win by Jarrett Stoll. Girardi takes it deep. That deflected behind the net. Good pressure by Stoll again. Brandon Davidson. Jarrett Stoll all over him. Good work by Stoll. And the Oilers pass out. It's pushed past Girardi. Gazdic gets there. Luke Gazdic hit by Tanner Glass. job by Glass again. At the line, a long shot by Greiber went wide. Greiber keeps it in. Glass back for it. Now McDonough comes out from behind the net. Hayes sends it in. Hayes and Kreider on, joined by Zuccarello. It's another different combination. Zuccarello's got it. Now Hayes in front, just off the stick of Chris Kreider, and chipped out of the zone. Taylor Hall drops it back. Shot by Klefbom, a save by Lundqvist, and he's got it. 6:07 to go in the second period. Join the Rangers' 22nd annual Toys for Tot Toy Drive, presented in part by Lexus. Now through December 20th, bring an unwrapped toy to a tri-state area Lexus dealership and help brighten a child's holiday season. For more information, visit NewYorkRangers.com.
Lindbergh only played 3:01 in the first period for the Rangers, so some of the different combinations. And I think Alain Vigneault is just concentrating. Who's got legs here in the early going? And I think that's why we've seen Zuccarello with some different combinations, because he's been a standout. Kreider scores the goal. He's skating better now.
Face-off win by Hendricks. Save by Lundqvist. Rebound, a save. Great save by Lundqvist. He robbed Korpikoski, who was looking for a hat trick.
Right off the face-off. Here's a look from our Buick RoboCam. And Lundqvist found both of these. Clean face-off win. Stoll loses it. There's the first one, and then the second. Beautiful save by Lundqvist, as the Oilers get their two best chances of this second period.
If memory serves me, Joe, Lauri Korpikoski's never had an NHL hat trick. And some good years in Phoenix. The RoboCam replay was brought to you by the new Buick. Buick, your kind of luxury. Korpikoski is playing some kind of game tonight.
Boy, he's been all around the net,
yes,
hasn't he? When you talk about players going to the net and looking for chances, that's been him.
Letestu winds up, saved by Lundqvist.
Again, a screen in front.
Henrik Lundqvist. Oilers have 3, but Lundqvist has had himself quite a game. He's made 25 saves, and there's still 5 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the second period.
Well, that time it was Hendricks that was directly in front of him.
Let's go Oilers chant up from the crowd. Kevin Hayes. Kreider. Collision with Klefbom, and Kreider went down. You don't often see that.
No. Gives you an idea how strong Klefbom is.
Kara hit by Stahl. J.J. Kara. Stahl stays with him. Eberle. Dan Boyle checking him. Nurse winds it deep to Kara. The board, Sekera. That shot blocked by Dominic Moore. Sekera intercepts. Comes back in. Game tied 3-3. Rangers were down 3-1 coming into the second period. Goals by Chris Kreider and Derek Brassard have tied it. Stahl playing it back.
Last couple of shifts, I'm sorry, Sam, last couple of shifts, the Oilers pretty good on the forecheck. They went a long stretch in this second period where most of the play was in their zone.
Out shooting the Rangers 29-15. Offside whistled on the play. 3:59 to go in the second period. The game tied 3-3. Upcoming schedule is brought to you by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Rangers. Tomorrow night on MSG Plus, 10 p.m. Rangers and the Calgary Flames. Rangers back home Tuesday, 7 p.m. on MSG. Rangers and these Edmonton Oilers. Thursday back on the road in Minnesota against the Wild, 8 p.m. on MSG. All games preceded 1/2 hour by Visa Rangers Game Night. Hope you'll join us. Hope you're enjoying this night, which began with the great moving ceremony honoring Glenn Sather, the Rangers president, of the man who built this Edmonton franchise and put it on the map and turned it into a great championship organization. JT Miller with a good shot. Another rebound shot saved by Nielsen. He got bumped as Brassard was knocked down into him.
Good shot by JT Miller. Again, just from the angle. Why not take the shot? It nearly turned into something. Again, Nielsen had to make a good second save after the initial shot by JT Miller.
Nurse holding behind the net. 3:15 to go, second period. And the game tied 3-3. Cleared out by Luke Gazdic. Gazdic comes it in, chases. McElrath with him. Played away by Stoll to Dominic Moore. He's forced back by Greiba, the defenseman. Moore works it to McElrath. Now Keith Yandel. Lead for Tanner Glass, taken back by Brandon Davidson. Lifted out. Yandel blocks it. Koski on the forecheck for Edmonton. Outlet pass into the skates of Lindbergh. Lifts it in. Greiba moves it. Davidson swings it around the boards. And here's Letestu. Stopped by Boyle. And a whistle. There's a collision in center. Boyle was involved with Hendricks. Hendricks dropped a glove.
That's because a little bit of a late hit. Hendricks on Dan Boyle. At least Mark Stahl thought it was somewhat late. And Hendricks is a player that's not afraid to throw down the gloves. There's the play just after the whistle. And that's when Mark Stahl goes over, has a little confrontation with Hendricks. I'm not sure Hendricks could have stopped himself on the hit because it was a kind of a bang-bang play. As soon as the whistle blew, Hendricks was finishing his check.
2:15 to go. Hayes and Draisaitl on the face-off. Fired in. Kreider had a hit on Justin Schultz. Kreider's played a physical game. Darnell Nurse missed his shot. Rangers come out. Kevin Hayes with Zuccarello and Kreider. Zuccarello moves in and shoots. It's wide. Round the boards kept in by McDonough. Ball stopped by Zuccarello. Girardi with a wrister deflection and a save. Good save. A tough one by Anders Nielsen. With 1:47 to go.
Kreider's involved, pardon me, Sam. Kreider and Schultz. That goes back to the earlier hit about 30 seconds ago. And so it looks like Kreider's going to the penalty box for the Rangers. I think only one call here, so the Rangers will be shorthanded. The Rangers doing a better job just trying to get pucks there. Kreider, you'll see, he deflects it, and then he comes right across the front.
Number 20, 2 minutes for roughing.
That's, you know what? That's a bad penalty by Kreider. No reason to, you know what? You're gonna bump him the first time. All right, skate away. But it's you know, the Rangers working to score 2 goals to come back to tie this in the period. There's no reason to take an unnecessary penalty.
Power play Edmonton, 1 for 2 in the game. They scored on their first one, the face-off win and a good clear by McDonough. McDonough and Girardi with Fost and Stoll for the Rangers. Kreider for roughing at 18-13. Lundqvist stops it. On the glass. And kept in by Sekera. Letestu. Good play by Jesper Fast. Got it out of the zone and was put back in offside. Edmonton on the play. Experience the lounges at Madison Square Garden, a spectacular group and hospitality space on the bridge level. For more information, call 212-465-6080 or visit NewYorkRangers.com. Minute 20 to go in the period. And away with the puck, Dominic Moore. Good play. Rick Nash. Taylor Hall stopped him. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to Teddy Purcell. Back to Nugent-Hopkins. McElrath there. McElrath installed. Nash and Dominic Moore on for the Rangers.
Last minute of play in the second period.
Mark Stahl able to clear under a minute to go here in the second. Rangers with 2 goals here in the second. They were down 3-1 coming into the period. Kreider scored in the first minute, and then Brassard scoring to tie it. Along the boards, back out to Schultz. Schultz plays it across. Taylor Hall. Schultz sets up Nugent-Hopkins. Saved by Lundqvist, and he holds it. Teddy Purcell banging away, trying to get the puck loose from Henrik Lundqvist, and then McElrath shoved him to the board.
Now this game has taken on more of an edge as this second period has continued. There wasn't much hitting in the first period. More of a free-flowing game. And now both teams trying to get to the front of the net. Edmonton's done a pretty good job of that throughout. And there's McElrath making sure that if you want to stand in front of the net, then they're going to make it tough on you. Teddy Purcell was there. McElrath didn't like the fact that Purcell got his stick in after Lundqvist had made the save. And McElrath is verbal and excited. That's good. Game is supposed to be played with emotion.
Letestu and Moore on the face-off. Sekera gets to the puck. Across to Jordan Eberle. Moore on him. Eberle. That's off the stick of Korpikoski. Letestu hit by Nash. Set up to Sekera. Good block by Dominic Moore. His stick is broken on the play. Korpikoski. Now Letestu for Korpikoski. Just missed. And the horn sounds ending the period with 12 seconds to go in the power play. Rangers escaped some trouble, but it turns out to be a big second period for the Rangers with 2 goals to tie the game.
Now, Lundqvist has faced 29 shots thus far. He's made some big saves here in the second period. But the Rangers, especially in the early part of the period, did a better job of keeping the puck out of their zone. And so Alain Vigneault's team comes back to tie the game in the second with 2 goals. And now the third period should be real interesting as these two teams have gotten a little angry at each other. I like it.
Stay with us. We're going to have a special interview with the Rangers president, Glenn Sather. This is his night tonight in Edmonton, and he'll join us in just a moment as part of the New York Lottery Intermission Report. Back in the studio, Bill Pito has the Audi MSG 150, Ron Duguay and Steve Balaket with highlights in it all and analysis. It's all coming up on the New York Lottery Intermission Report. Chris Kreider in the opening minute. Derek Brassard with a long shot. Henrik Lundqvist with great goaltending. 3-3, end of 2.
The New York Rangers Intermission Report is presented by the New York Lottery. Get out and play.
Welcome back to Edmonton. Getting set for the third period. Rangers and Oilers. New York Rangers hockey on MSG is presented by Chase. One of my favorite parts of the evening, John Gianone's report from the coaches. John.
Thank you, Sam. That's very nice of you. Associate Coach Scott Arniel said, you know what we did better in the second period? We got through the neutral zone better. We created opportunities from our own zone off the rush better. He said both goals were rush goals. That's what we'd like to see in the third period. He said, you know what? We've got into the dressing room and there was a good atmosphere in there. It's a 0-0 game. We've got to carry that. I said 15 shots on goal, 3 goals. Is it as easy as shooting the puck? He said, look, it's easy to say that, but our guys have skill. They make plays. Brass is a perfect example. He said he had a great opportunity early in the period, didn't even take the shot. He was mad about it. Then later he got a chance. He put it on net, and he scored. So you still want us to be playmakers. He said, but if it's 50-50, I'd like to see us shoot here in the third, guys.
Thanks, John. Third period starts. Rangers shorthanded for a few more seconds. Chris Kreider on his feet. 5 seconds to go in the Edmonton power play. Girardi, McDonough, Brassard, Nash, and now Kreider. He's on the ice. That's deflected in front. They score! Taylor Hall on the rebound. How do you like that? 18 seconds into the period, Kreider had just come out of the penalty box, and the Oilers take the lead for the third time in the game.
Now again, Sam, Taylor Hall was all alone in front of the net. And the puck, even though it hit off the side of the net, the Rangers have a lot of bodies back there. Both defensemen are back. Then you see Brassard come over and try and, Nash, pardon me, try and block the pass. But wide open in front of the net, I mean, Hall makes a wonderful play because the puck deflected, so he had to reach for it on his backhand, which he does here, and then all in one motion is able to just slide it in the far side.
Taylor Hall with a goal and an assist in the game, giving him 7 points in the last 4 games. That was a block by Kevin Hayes. And the puck then deflects out of play. And the crowd, we're still in the opening minute of play. Taylor Hall with his 13th goal of the season. He now has 32 points. He's among the league leaders, having a terrific year.
Yeah, he's dangerous. He was saying this morning, and we talked about this. The fans here in Edmonton, now they see some hope. And so they're more enthusiastic. And he said the players as a team, they could feel it during the game that there's more a positive outlook on all this team is competing. And the fact that at this point last season, they were 15 points out of a playoff spot at this point a season ago, mid-December. Now they're 3 coming into tonight, even though Los Angeles won tonight.
Right. Joe, you're seeing this talent start to mature.
Yeah.
You're seeing Jordan Eberle.
Right.
The guy who's not there yet is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He doesn't seem to find his game.
Sam, that's interesting you say that because I was making a note of that he's a player that we haven't mentioned much.
Yeah.
I mean, when he came into the league, he came in as an offensive player, right? Great hands, could pass, could skate, was a threat. He hasn't had the puck. And that's an area that's really been surprising to most people is that this season, he's had trouble handling the puck. And they hope that he gets that back. He's a pretty good defensive player, but that's not why they're paying him all the money they're paying him.
And if Connor McDavid comes back strong from that injury, here's pressure from Koski with the puck. Shot by Schultz, locked in front, hit his own man, Matt Hendricks. But if McDavid comes back and has a strong second half, these Oilers could make a run at a playoff spot.
Well, they're going to have to, get goaltending is going to be the key for them because, defensively, they're not a strong team in that area.
Good play by the Rangers in the neutral zone. Edam's shot was stopped by Nielsen. Gazdic taken away again by Edam. Another good play in the neutral zone by the Rangers. Boston gets over. Gazdic is there, number 20. Boyle with Stahl. Minute 45 into the third period. Rangers trailing 4-3. Boyle takes a deep check there by Darnell Nurse. Shot by Stahl, deflected just wide. Tanner Glass with a chance in front on the deflection of the shot by Mark Stahl.
And then it bounced over the stick of Dominic Moore on the other side of the net. He had an open side.
Nugent-Hopkins get knocked down by Jarrett Stoll. Stoll's on top of Nugent-Hopkins.
Took a punch. The ref was right there.
That shot deflects wide. Nugent-Hopkins 93. That's Kara, number 54. Played across to Sekera. Sekera's shot, deflection, and a save by Lundqvist, who's moving to his right. The deflection came back the other way, and he was able to stop it.
Yeah, that was a battle between Nugent-Hopkins and Jarrett Stoll. It started at the blue line. Stoll with the knockdown. Nugent-Hopkins came back after him. Now on top of him, Stoll gives him a little bit of a shot. Nugent-Hopkins with a punch. The referee's watching all this, letting them both go, and then right at the end of the shift in front, you'll see Stoll. I think it hits his left skate. Right there, kind of deflects, slows it down as he was trying to cover Nugent-Hopkins, and Lundqvist cleaned up the rest.
Backhander by Darnell Nurse goes wide. Girardi and Hall after it. Here's Taylor Hall. Finds an open man. Nurse, he scores! Oilers with 2 early goals in the third. It's 5-3.
Well, the Oilers win a physical battle again here and end up with the puck right from the faceoff. Edmonton wins it cleanly. And then as this shot, you'll see Girardi go in. He gets knocked off the puck by Hall. The quick movement, Draisaitl to Hall, back to Nurse. And Hall gets another point. Draisaitl will get an assist. And Nurse, the youngster, walks in and beats Lundqvist, and we'll have a goaltending change.
Wow, this is a shocker.
Lundqvist gets pulled.
You rarely see this. Lundqvist coming out of the game. He's given up 5 goals on 33 shots. 2 goals early in 2 minutes 40 seconds here in the third period. Henrik Lundqvist comes out, and Antti Ranta, who was scheduled to get the start tomorrow night in Calgary, gets the call here with the score 5-3.
Well, and sometimes you make this move as a timeout as well. It's like calling a timeout where you get a little chance to regroup. And there's still plenty of time left in the game. And, you know, with the way the coach's challenge works, you know, sometimes you make moves like this. I've seen more moves like this in the league this year because coaches don't want to use their timeout.
Right.
Because they want to save it for a challenge, a possible coaching challenge at some point.
Well, Joe, we saw the third period in Vancouver, which wasn't a good one for the Rangers when things fell apart for various reasons. But here, Edmonton is taking the game away early here in the third. Kreider is stopped along the wall by Darnell Nurse. Taylor Hall picks up another assist. 3 points in the game for Taylor Hall, giving him 33. He's tied for 4th in the league. The league leader is Patrick Kane. Kevin Hayes, open man off the stick of Kreider. Around the boards with a test tube for Edmonton. Nurse gets the goal, his second, from Hall and Draisaitl at 2:40. And it's 5-3 Edmonton. Second time the Oilers have had a 2-goal lead. They led 3-1 into the first. Rangers came back to tie. And now 5-3. Lindberg with a quick shot stopped by Nielsen. Rebound carried wide as Emerson Edom was checked on the play. That shot kicked away by Nielsen. Lindberg, Nielsen, and Fox. The line for the Rangers. Hendricks dumps it in. Stahl one-hands it to Boyle. Jesper Fast has it. Ryba swings it around for Pakarinen. Miro Pakarinen. I was pronouncing his first name incorrectly earlier. Dominic Moore fires stick to side by Nielsen, and he covers up at the side of the net. 4.5 minutes gone by here in the third.
Now, Dan Girardi did not practice yesterday with the Rangers. He was given the day off. And you'll see here, number 5, after they lose the faceoff, he'll be the first one to the puck. And Taylor Hall's got some speed, and just with the hit there on Girardi, bumps him off it. And then if we stop it here, you'll see no one is looking at this man right here. And that's Nurse. So everyone's facing the puck carrier. No one looked over their shoulder at the weak side man. Nurse made a smart play by noticing that and then just moving in. And real good pass from Taylor Hall right on the stick of Nurse. He beat Lundqvist.
Taylor Hall, that was the guy who was looking at Darnell Nurse, and he found him with a good pass.
Sure was. Boy, that line's good, aren't they,
yes,
Sam?
Real good.
Draisaitl's doing some things.
Oh, Taylor Hall is really playing well.
Yeah.
Man.
Remember, there was some talk about trading him the last couple of years. Even earlier this year about trading some of these players. And kind of thought, you know what, we've had enough of that. Let's start playing a little better hockey.
Tanner Glass, Waite shoots, stick save by Nielsen. Up into the netting it goes. Play stops. 4:54 gone by here in the third. Tomorrow night on MSG Plus. Hope you'll join us as the Rangers meet the Calgary Flames in Calgary. Live coverage begins at 9:30 following the Islanders and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rangers and Flames tomorrow night on MSG Plus. Gazdic looking around.
Big tough guy. That's the other part of their game that they're liking the fight back that Edmonton has shown physically this season.
They're a bigger team now.
Yeah,
Joe.
they are. They sure are.
JT Miller in the corner, Nash. Miller, Brassard, and Nash the line here. Brassard leaves it for Girardi. McDonough's in deep. Nash try to play it, comes back out to Brassard. He shoots, saved by Nielsen, and he's got it. Injury to Klefbom. Oscar Klefbom is left with a wrist injury and will not return for Edmonton.
He left right at the end of the second period. He played 6 minutes, just under 6 minutes in the first period, about 6 minutes in the second, and had 7 shots on goal for the Oilers, the right-handed shooting defenseman. So, again, there's still plenty of time left in this game. Again, the defensive part of the game in the Oilers zone is an area where they spent a lot of time this year, and this has been a tough night for Henrik Lundqvist. He's allowed a few goals that we're not used to seeing him allow. He didn't get a lot of help from his team on some of those. I mean, too many times, the man that scored was wide open in front of the net. You just simply can't keep allowing those types of chances.
Second and third chance goals, too. Stahl to Zuccarello. Try to get it to Dan Boyle. Rangers have to regroup. Boyle plays it back to Antti Ranta. Ranta fires it off the boards. Hayes put it in the Edmonton zone, and Darnell Nurse goes to get it. Edmonton playing with 5 defensemen now. Stahl poked it ahead. Nielsen covers up with a glove. 5:40 gone by here in the third period.
Zuccarello in the middle of everything. Darnell Nurse. A youngster, boy, he's making a name for himself to stay here, isn't he?
He's
former
impressive.
first-round pick, yeah. Former first-round pick.
You notice him on the ice.
He's big. You know, he's 210 pounds, as we talked about earlier, Sam, but when we saw him this morning in the locker, he looks skinny.
He does.
You know, he looks like one of these kids that, you know, he's got another 20 pounds to put on that frame.
No body fat, Joe.
What's that, man?
I can't say that for myself. JT Miller with a drive wide. Hard shot, but missed the net. Down the boards to Brassard. Brassard checked by Brandon Davidson. Wheels it back to Yandel. Down to Dan Boyle. Nash against Greiba. Nash plays it into the crease. Nielsen didn't know where it was. No goal. Oh. Boyle came in and poked at it. I believe he pushed it in.
He said
he pushed the goaltender in.
I'm not sure he saw the puck, but we'll get a look at it when we come back.
Rangers down 5-3.
The Rangers put one in the net, but it was called back as the officials determined that it was underneath the right pad of Nielsen, the goaltender. That deflects off the Oilers defenseman, and then the Rangers just keep going. Nielsen didn't know where it was. You can see it again. There's a deflection off the skate. He's looking behind him. Rangers can see it, and eventually Brassard puts it in. Here's another look. And there you see it, just underneath the pad. Well, we saw it the first time. That was actually the correct call by the official.
The referee, T.J. Luxmore, made the call, and he went over to the Rangers bench to explain the call to Alain Vigneault. Now we have the face-off in the Edmonton zone. 6:10 gone by in the third. Rangers down 2 goals. Nash fires in front, deflected off of Yandel wide. Boyle recovers. Yandel. Here comes Nash. He shoots, and he hits the post. Rebound, score! Derek Brassard. The long shot by Nash had Nielsen beat, but it hit the post. Brassard kept going. It's now a 5-4 game.
We're not seeing a goaltending clinic here tonight.
No.
What happened was Nash had all kinds of speed, but look at the defensemen. They're both backing up. No one stands up, and Nash just took the opportunity to really fire the hard wrist shot off the post. Nielsen doesn't know where it is, and boy, oh boy, Brassard's been all around the net in this game, and he gets another one. So everybody backs up, And Broussard gets slashed on the play as he looks at his hand or his wrist and is able to find the puck and put it in.
Derek Broussard has 4 goals in the last 3 games, 2 two-goal games, 5 goals in the last 6. Rick Nash with a couple of assists in the game, and the Rangers back within 1.
And it quiets the crowd again. They get a little nervous.
Girardi did a good job stopping Taylor Hall. Broussard, second of the game, 11th of the season from Nash at 6:28. And it's 5-4 with 13 minutes to go in the third period.
Now Nielsen looks nervous. He's just unsure of himself. And so for the Rangers, you got to keep shooting the pucks at him. Keep getting it to the net.
But for what it's worth, Joe, since the goalie change, the Rangers have had control of the puck. Antti Raanta has not faced a shot since coming in for Henrik Lundqvist.
Again, you look for that kind of an effect, right? Sometimes you use it as a timeout to slow momentum down.
Pass was blocked by McElrath. Lindberg and Korpikoski after it. Edom was there. Hendricks for Edmonton. Edom plays it around the boards to Fost. Fost drops it back to Mark Stahl. Good work on the forecheck by Edmonton. And now Edmonton changing. Rangers changing. And Stahl moves the puck. Cross pass intercepted. Brought back in by Lander. It's wide of the net. Anton Lander, number 51. Lindberg. McElrath. And it's tipped ahead by Emerson Edom. Nurse lost it to Fost, who got a shot on goal on the wraparound and a save by Nielsen. Great play by Jesper Fast, coming close to tying the game. Stay connected to your blue shirts. Download the official New York Rangers app to enjoy breaking news, live game stats, and a whole lot more on the official Rangers app. 8:25 gone by here in the third.
Yeah, the Rangers come right back after getting the goal to get back to within 1. And they have another chance. Great work. Fost down below. Hit. Steals the puck. Wrap around. And Nielsen had to be alert.
Rangers have 8 shots here in the third period. Edmonton 3. And the Oilers have not had a shot on goal since they made it 5-3. 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the period.
Now this is the area of the game that Todd McClellan talked about with his team. Managing the game, getting a lead, and doing the right things with the lead.
Miller gets a shot on goal, and the save by Nielsen. Hit off the Oilers' crest, and Nielsen loved it. There's Todd McClellan.
Yeah, he says this is the type of thing where they've had leads during the course of the season, and they give them up. And you see that last play on the Rangers' 4th goal, there was no reason to back up like they did. I mean, they were both defensemen back way up. That's playing scared, as opposed to playing confident and knowing you can stand up and make plays. 1-on-2, and they let Nash do his thing. Now, the goaltender didn't play very well, but the shot, I think, in my estimation, the shot really didn't even have to come that way. You could have stood up in the neutral zone to do something, but that's what they're going through with this young team.
McDonough works in deep. Sekera swings it around the board, stopped by Girardi. Andre Sekera hit by Tanner Glass. Stoll keeps it in. Rangers' 4th line of Stoll, Moore, and Glass on. Girardi pinches in. Moore winds it deep. Sekera wrapped up by Glass. Letestu off the board, stopped by McDonough. Coming down to the midway point, third period. Rangers had never led in the game. They trailed 1-0, tied it at 1. They trailed 3-1 into the first, tied it in the second at 3-3. Edmonton with 2 goals early in the third, opened a 5-3 lead. Rangers have gotten 1 back. In deep, Draisaitl. Pass tipped away. Hall gave it away, and Boyle clears it out to Kreider. Kreider off the boards, goes deep against Greiba. Hayes had it knocked away by Taylor Hall and play the other way. Hall off the boards. In deep. Checked there by Dan Boyle. Ryder after the puck. Gryba blocks it. And Mark Stahl takes over. 9:40 to go. Third period. Oilers lead the Rangers 5-4. Boyle. And some problems with Nugent Hopkins. Rangers come out with it. Everson Edom with Jesper Fast. Edom's backhander goes high. Lindberg with a keep in. Lindberg again sets up Edom. Shot blocked. Now it's Yandel looking. Pass through. The one-timer went wide by Jesper Fast. And Davidson lifting it deep into the Ranger zone. Fast goes back to get it. 9 minutes to go in the third. Broussard with 2 goals in the game. McElrath in a collision with Sekera. Sekera went down. Korpikoski tried to clear. Give away to Miller. Miller fires across, tipped away by Hendricks. Broussard for Miller. That was blocked by Gazdic.
2 real good plays by McElrath to keep the play alive in the offensive zone.
Korpikoski blocked that pass across. Excuse me. Rangers aggressive on the forecheck. Yandel just couldn't get there to keep it in. A let's go Oilers chant up from the crowd. Fired in by Glass. Moore is there. The Oilers have not had a shot on goal in the last 9 minutes. Glass tries to the net and it was tipped away. Out of the zone. Taylor Hall is there. McDonough checks him. And it's offside on the Oilers. 7:51 to go, third period. Oilers and Rangers. It's 5-4. Broussard with his second goal of the game. Oh, it's time for our Timberland Pro Hard Hits highlights, Joe.
Well, there's been times in this game where it's just been a skating game, and at other times, both teams have shown a little physical play and some edge to their game. And so there's some of that. Boy, that was Chris Kreider that took a hard hit from Klefbom. Again, Klefbom did not return for the third period.
I don't know if this is good news or bad news, Joe, but Antti Raanta, well, let's say Purcell, that's the first shot Ranta's faced since coming into the game.
Right off the face-off.
Yeah, Purcell playing it to Draisaitl. Draisaitl winds it to Taylor Hall. Zuccarello with Purcell on him. So only the fourth shot on goal for Edmonton here in the third period. And their first on Antti Raanta, who's been in the game, who had been in the game 9.5 minutes. Purcell. Rangers down by 1. 5-4. Girardi knocked it down with a glove. Hall sends it deep. Raanta out to stop it to Ryan McDonough. McDonough's pass tipped. Bounced over the stick of J.T. Miller. And Sekera plays it to Darnell Nurse. Back to Andrej Sekera. Under 7 minutes to go in the third. Jordan Eberle in deep. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. McElrath was there. Yandel trying to move it. Help from Broussard. Kyra trying to keep it in. Taken out by Miller. Now Nash. One hands it toward the net. Nielsen steers it to Sekera. Up the boards. Eberle back for Nugent-Hopkins. Jordan Eberle for Nugent-Hopkins. Wide with a backhander. At the point, Nurse off the end boards and off the back of the net. Yandel for McElrath. McElrath. Yandel. Rangers complete a line change. Oscar Lindberg. Davidson swings it around the boards. And Hendricks clears it out, but Fast is back to get it. Stahl for Boyle. Boyle leads Lindberg. Lindberg with Fast. Fast to Lindberg. Looking for a deflection. Stahl in deep. Stahl around the net. Controlling. Emerson Edom. Lindberg shoots, saved by Nielsen. Tough shot by Oscar Lindberg. Nielsen makes a big save with 5:31 to go. In the third, Rangers trailing 5-4. Let's answer the Cadillac trivia question of the 23 head coaches. To reach 1,000 NHL games, only 3 have coached the Rangers at some point in their careers. We gave you Alain Vigneault.
Right.
Joe?
I'll throw in Glenn Sather.
No.
Then I'll throw in Mike Keenan.
That's right. I'll throw in Roger Nielsen. The great Roger, the late Roger Nielsen, who coached exactly 1,000 games. Of course, Mike Keenan and Alain Vigneault reaching 1,000 games tonight. Miller tried to play it deep. Was blocked by Sekera. Sekera swings it around the boards. Yandel working hard to keep it in. Hendricks kicked it to the line, and Boyle kept it in. Brassard and Nash in the corner. Poked away to Letestu. Just under 5 minutes to go. Long shot saved by Ronte. Holds it. 4:54 to go in the third. Stay with us after the game. We've got complete post-game coverage coming your way on Mercedes-Benz Rangers post-game. Bill Pito will anchor in the studio with Ron Duguay and Steve Valiquette. John Giannone will work the locker room. Joe Micheletti and Dave Maloney have their analysis here in Edmonton. And we'll hear from head coach Alain Vigneault, all on Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame. Fired up the boards by Girardi was blocked. Teddy Purcell checked by Girardi. Draisaitl off the back of the net. Girardi punches it away. Purcell's pass was tipped. Draisaitl's got it. Taylor Hall battling McDonough. Good effort by this line, keeping it alive in the Ranger zone. Now it's poked out. And Greiba sending it back in. Time winding down on the Rangers, who are down by 1. 5-4. Lead for Hayes out of the zone. Hayes with Kreider and Zuccarello. Here's Kreider. Feed to Stahl. He shoots. Hit the outside of the net. Nugent Hopkins around the board. Stopped by Kreider. Nurse had it poked away by Kreider. Firing from a sharp angle was Hayes. It hit the side of the net. Up the boards to Jordan Eberle. 3:45 to go in the third. Eberle trying to get it to Kyra. A.J. Kyra with the puck. Checked by Stahl. McElrath swings out of trouble and able to move the puck.
Nice play.
Lindberg. McElrath goes deep. Zuccarello carries in against Sekera. Drops it back to Lindberg. Hit the side of the net again with Nielsen hugging the post. Edom shot blocked by Korpikoski. In front, Lindberg missed. Edom chases it down. Around for Lindberg. Trying to play it in front. Edom poked it wide. Edom gets there. Lindberg puts it in front. Zuccarello after it. Zuccarello puts it in front, but it went by Edom, and the Oilers able to get out of trouble. Under 3 minutes to go in the third. Long lead to Lindberg. Drops it back to Edom. Checked by Taylor Hall. Taken away by Boyle. Pass across from JT Miller, comes out of the zone. Yandel's got it back. Yandel was given an assist on the Brassard second goal. So that reads Brassard from Nash and Yandel. That made it 5-4. 2:25 to go. Dan Boyle winds up. Big drive, just missed. Oof, got a lot on that shot. Boyle behind the net. Tried to play it in front. Nurse blocked it. Nash against Draisaitl. Turns and shoots, saved by Nielsen. The rebound was cleared aside with Brassard trying to get there. Down the ice, Teddy Purcell gets to the puck first. McDonough's there with him. Purcell has the goal of the game. Oh, McDonough hit him high, then McDonough got hit in the back of the head, and a penalty on Purcell on the retaliation. Bad penalty by Ted Purcell. 1:53 to go in the third, and Ted Purcell will go on.
Yeah, it's never a good argument to say, well, you know, he did it first. More times than not, they get the second player.
That's what they did.
And yeah, he gets McDonough with a pretty good cross check after McDonough had the hands up on him.
And you hear the reaction of the crowd as they showed that replay. A timeout has been called by the Rangers. And Alain Vigneault calls Antti Raanta to the bench to talk things over. Our keys to the game are brought to you by GMC. See the pros nearest you to test drive one of their award-winning trucks, crossovers, or SUVs today. GMC, we are professional grade. Former Ranger Lori Korpikoski with his 9th career 2-goal game. Derek Brassard with 2 goals, giving him 11 on the season and 5 in the last 6 games. Taylor Hall with a goal and 2 assists, giving him 33 points on the season, tied for 4th in the league. Scott Arniel diagramming the plays he wants here. The Rangers will have a power play, and they'll put 6 skaters on. Antti Raanta goes to the bench.
Well, the other reason it was a good timeout is because Brassard was on the ice, Boyle was on the ice. These are all players they want for the power play. So they had played a long shift, so he uses his timeout now to give that group a rest so he can start the power play with them.
This power play presented by Volkswagen. Antti Raanta on the bench faced only 2 shots in 17 minutes and 20 seconds. Actually about 15 minutes of playing time. Still 1:53 on the clock. Good play by Brassard off the faceoff. Shot by Boyle. Save Nielsen. Rebound Nash. He scores! Rick Nash. It's a power play goal. And the game is tied 5-5.
What a job on the faceoff by Derek Brassard. You talk about not giving up on a play. Brassard down on his knees, kept digging. Watch him go down and still reaches for it, gets it over there. This shot, rebound, and then Rick Nash on the second try puts it past Nielsen, and the Rangers tie it with 1:46 to go. Rick Nash was due, and he put it in to tie it.
Rick Nash had gone 6 games without a goal, and the president of the Rangers on his night here in Edmonton cheers his current team as the Rangers cash in on the power play. Nash has had a goal and 2 assists. Brassard's had 2 goals and an assist, and the Rangers have come back to tie this game for the 3rd time. And now a 2-on-1, Draisaitl Hall, and he scores! Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, to give up a 2-on-1 this late in the game. Now the Rangers have made some defensive mistakes. You'll see McDonough go left. He stands up, gets chipped past him. Stoll gets beaten on the play. Now it's the odd man rush in 2-on-1. Draisaitl finds Hall, and we've talked about those players often tonight, and Hall with his 2nd of the game.
The most goals the Rangers have given up in a game this season. It is 6-5. Rangers had come back 3 times to tie the game, and the Oilers now lead for the 4th time in the game. 1:25 to go. Rangers net is empty. 6 skaters on. Brassard with Nash. Played across to Kreider. Boyle, Gandil, Zuccarello also on at the side of the net. Nielsen stopped it and pushing and shoving after the whistle. Brassard involves Zuccarello there. Nash from Boyle and McDonough tied it at 18-14. And then the goal to give the lead to the Oilers came at 18:27, 13 seconds later.
Well, here's what drives the coach nuts, Sam. The Rangers tie it, and he puts his defensive players on the ice. Moore was on the ice, Stoll was on the ice, Moss was on the ice, McDonough was on the ice, and then Boyle was the other defenseman that was back on the 2-on-1, and there's nothing he could have done on that play.
Wow. Taylor Hall with his second of the game from Draisaitl and Purcell at 18:27. Taylor Hall with 2 goals, 2 assists. What a game he's had. Zuccarello trying to get it in front. Kreider out to Yandel. Pass across, under a minute to go. Yandel broke his stick. No, he didn't break it. He fanned on the shot. He missed his shot. 50 seconds to go. Boyle. Brassard. Brassard, Zuccarello, Nash, and Kreider on. Brassard shoots, save by Nielsen to the empty net. They score. Oh, the length of the ice. And that's it. Lauri Korpikoski with a hat trick.
Well, Brassard carried the puck a long way. Nielsen makes the save, and Korpikoski just turns and fires it down. What a play by Brassard. Nielsen makes a good save, and then Korpikoski just turns and fires it and gets the hat trick. This game was like one of those games in the 80s.
That's
7-5
right.
here in Edmonton. They saw plenty of those.
Old-time Oilers hockey. Lauri Korpikoski with his first NHL hat trick against his former team. An empty net goal from in front of his own net. With 37.7 seconds remaining, the Oilers lead it 7-5. Wow. Not the kind of game that Alain Vigneault envisioned for his 1,000th NHL game. Rangers kept coming back. 3 comebacks, but they never got hold of the game.
No, you know what though, Sam? I mean, it's when the Rangers came back and tied it at 5-5, they just had this feeling that they were going to win it because they had battled back, and this Edmonton team has had trouble holding leads this year. And then, you know, the Rangers as a team, here's what's been so surprising to me, is they've made as many defensive errors in this game. Too many wide open players in front of the net, odd man rushes. That's not like the Ranger team that we've seen these last number of years. But they struggled in that department tonight. Down below the goal line, getting bumped off the puck, turnovers, that kind of thing. Now they're still cleaning up the hats. One more gets thrown out there.
The Oilers will win their 5th in a row and their 6th consecutive home game. They'll be heading out on the road. Rangers will see the Oilers at Madison Square Garden Tuesday night. Rangers will have to go into another place where they'll face a team that's been playing very, very well at home. That's the Calgary Flames tomorrow night. Flames are on a winning streak, and they've won 8 straight home games. They've won 4 in a row overall. The cheers building for the Edmonton Oilers from their fans. That shot sticked aside by Nielsen. McElrath shot blocked, 5 seconds to go, and this one is over. And the Rangers' struggles continue. They are 1-3-1 in their last 5. 2-6-1 in their last 9. The Oilers win it 7-5. Getting great nights from Lauri Korpikoski and Taylor Hall. The Rangers had some good offensive production from Derek Brassard and Rick Nash.
5 wins in a row for Edmonton. They've got life back in this city. You can see why when you see the play of tonight of Taylor Hall and Draisaitl and Nurse, the young defenseman.
And then Korpikoski steps up.
And Korpikoski,
he's a veteran player.
right.
Edmonton Oilers defeat the Rangers 7-5. We'll be back here in Edmonton in just a moment.